Good morning. I want to talk to you about something that the founding fathers believed in, and I'm talking about the founding fathers of the United States of America. The colonists had been oppressed by King George, and they had been demanded to do a lot of things that were against their beliefs and ideas, and so they fought back, and they won their independence from England, and they created a society here that they hoped that would make men free, truly free. Now, a lot of people in this modern times have decided that what freedom means is the freedom to do whatever they want, and that's not what the founding fathers intended. They intended for us to do what was good. Okay, not that everybody agreed on what others were doing, but that what others were doing was not evil. But today, a lot of people want to believe that the documents that the founding fathers put together gives us some privilege to do evil, and it doesn't. As a matter of fact, that's just the opposite. Now, the scripture also talks about freedom. There's several places where it talks about freedom. And what it talks about is being free from that exact same thing, not doing evil, but to do good. Let me read you a couple of scriptures. You can find it on in the scriptures, but you can also find it on Country Living. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. And that's in Galatians 5:1. And see, we're burdened by we become slaves to sin. We do things because we think it's something that is going to advance us in some way, or that we're going to get more pleasure, or that's one of the things that human beings do. They think they need more and more of something. I used to hang out with a group, and they used to say, our mind works this way. If we think a little bit of sugar is good, we think a lot of sugar ought to be better. And if we think a little bit of black pepper or a little bit of salt is good, our mind thinks, well, then a whole bunch ought to be better. And anybody knows that's ridiculous. Too much salt will not produce a better flavor, and too much black pepper will not produce a better flavor. So we get to thinking that doing things more is going to give us a better reward. And that's not true. That's insanity. So anyway, let me read you another scripture about freedom. The founding fathers really understood scripture, and they also knew that freedom comes with a price. For one who has died has been set free from sin. And that's the only time that we're free from being sinful. Because we're going to sin daily. As much as we try, we're going to sin daily. But upon death, we have been set free from that. So whenever you mess up, remember that you're going to quit messing up when you die. So don't say, I wish I could quit sinning, because you will be dead. All right? That's pretty funny. Okay. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whosoever loves others has fulfilled the law. Wow. That one's a good one, although it didn't quite fit, but it's okay. For you were called to freedom, brothers, only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. Yeah. In other words, you're free. You can do whatever you want, as long you don't use that to manipulate and gain advantage from other people. Now the Lord is a spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Wow. You know, when God's in you, when you are being moved by the Spirit of the Lord, you're not doing evil. And if you're not doing evil, you're set free. And evil comes in different shades, different colors. Sometimes envy, sometimes jealousy, sometimes gluttony, money, wanting more and more, keeping things that are not really yours, but just because you don't want to let go. Comes on squelching people and keeping them down, or sometimes it comes on not letting people know that they're not meeting up to their own expectations and the expectations of God. And that we don't help them in that area. And here's one of my favorites. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now, was Jesus talking about the fact that he was the Messiah? Yes. But here's something else. He was talking about the fact that unless you know the truth, you cannot make good decisions. So when you keep yourself in ignorance, you cannot make a good decision until you find out the other side of the story. As Paul Harvey would say, you don't know the truth. You know, I love Paul Harvey because he would say, and now the rest of the story. Because you just knew part of it. And then he would tell you, here's the deal. This is the rest of the story. And that's what I think this is, scripture tries to remind us. Until you know the truth, you cannot make a good decision. That's why I always say, give me the pertinent information first, okay? Because a lot of times people will start with things that the peripherals of the important thing about the situation. So your mind automatically, because your mind is such a wonderful mechanism, your mind, especially a man's mind, is already figuring out some kind of solution to the thing. And then all of a sudden, you give them the most pertinent information about what you're talking about. And that changes everything. Everything. So, until you recognize the fact that you're overweight, and I am, and I know that, until I recognize that, I cannot do something to remedy that. But that's my choice. Now, if you don't know how to read and write, unless you accept the truth that you do not know how to read and write, and that you need to, that's the most important part about that deal, is that having the need, you have a need to learn how to read and write. Until you accept that truth, until you recognize that truth, you cannot move on to learn how to read and write. And it's true about most everything in our lives. It is in recognizing the truth and not lying to ourselves and not letting other people lie to us. Because other people will lie to you and keep you in ignorance, especially if it suits them in a positive manner. So until we recognize the truth that people are using or manipulating us, we can't change that. Now, I like this one. It says, live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but living as servants of God. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, that means respect him, honor the emperor, that means Caesar. You know, you always hear about give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's and give unto God that which is God. That means we're to obey the laws. I just thought I'd throw that in. And by obeying the laws, you're actually free. Now nobody's going to come and enslave you or demand things of you in a violent way. So when you obey the laws, you are free, in a sense. So I'm going to get back to this freedom thing, because I think it's so important that we be free. That we be free from our fears, our economic insecurity. This is what Jesus does. You know, the promises he made to this guy right here, this man. When I came to him, and I came to him in a personal relationship when I was in my late 30s. He promised me that I would not fear what other people thought of me anymore. That I wasn't going to live a life pleasing other people, but I was going to please him. That I wouldn't fear what people thought of me. That I wouldn't fear standing up for what I thought was a good and godly thing and what was the right thing anymore, whether people liked it or not. That I would not fear anymore of economic insecurity, that I would just always have enough. And when I had little, I didn't fear that. I thanked him. And I wouldn't fear death. And I think that to me has been one of the greatest burdens that was ever lifted off my shoulders. That death is going to come. When? I know not. And it doesn't matter, because I already have a reservation, you know. And through Jesus Christ, I know where I'm going. Now, he's kept all those promises. That I wouldn't have fear of economic insecurity of what other people thought of me, or whether I ever had this or that. Now, he's kept those promises. Every one. So I have no reason to believe he will not keep this last one. That I will be in glory with him when my time comes. Now that is true freedom. Have a great day.